The snow has given way to cloudy skies. It's still a cold and slightly windy day in Ithaca, but what else could you want? From a top 10 matchup, the number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions and Jeff Tambroni are back in town taking on the headman's former team, the number 3 Cornell Big Red. Hello everyone, and thank you for spending some of your Saturday afternoon with us. Christian Guzman with you, alongside Tom LaFalce. Tom, the big story we're tracking today, Penn State is playing severely undermanned. Matt Trainer, Kyle Lehman, and Ryan DeRocco are all out for today's game. That's 3 of the top 6 point scorers for Penn State unavailable for today.
Yeah, and missing Trainer, who had a career day last year against the Big Red. He had 7 goals in last year's blowout win in Happy Valley. So Penn State's going to need some answers offensively with those 3 key pieces missing. For Cornell, I think the key, you got to see, they've had slow starts their last 2 games. Can they come out and jump on top of this undermanned Nittany Lions squad?
Do you imagine that all eyes for Cornell are still going to be on CJ Kirst? He's 6 goals away from becoming Cornell's all-time leading goal scorer, and Kirst still, with that, leading Division I in goals per game.
Well, not only that, he is shooting an incredibly high percentage. He's shooting 60% on the year. That is remarkable for a player who's scoring as many goals as CJ Kirst is. Just such a dynamic player.
What do you think Wyatt Nust is thinking about in goal for Cornell? Didn't last the first quarter the last time these 2 teams played down in Happy Valley. A 20-9 win for Penn State last year.
I'm sure a lot of it is make the first save, and after you make the first save, make the next one, right? It's
Yep.
You know, he's been solid all year for Cornell. He's really stepped up in the second quarter in their game down south at Richmond. So it's going to be important for him to get stops when they need him.
Kobe Baldwin and Jack Cascadin in a great face-off matchup between 2 of the best in Division I. Walker Wallace trying to fight Baldwin on the sideline, and it is the long pole of Wallace who will pick up the first face-off for Cornell. Cornell barely escaping last week against Richmond, down 6-1 in the first quarter against the number 14 at the time Spiders. Eventually, the last few minutes of the game, Michael Long comes up with a game-winning goal to escape Virginia with a 12-11 win for the Big Red.
No easy games on the Big Red schedule this year. They come right out, a couple of top 15 wins, and now they look for their first top 10 win of the year.
On offense, it's an undermanned Penn State team. On defense, still pretty much full strength. Michael Long first, shot wide left.
And you can see that they have decided that they have the short stick on Hugh Kelleher, so I would look for them to try and get that matchup. Firth has drawn the long pole.
Ryan Goldstein at X, gets around GLE and forced away.
Now that's one factor in last year's game. Goldstein was not a factor in this game, and obviously he's become a big part of this Cornell offense.
What you say, the short stick on Hugh Kelleher, that's the first goal of the game. They attack that first short stick matchup right away, and what an interesting decision to put a short stick on a Tewaaraton Award watch list player in Hugh Kelleher.
Well, especially someone who dodges so much downhill. This is actually a pretty atypical dodge. Just comes down the alley with his left hand and beats the Freysian up high. So, you know, a good start for the Big Red offense of getting the ball moving around a little bit, creating some movement, and then being able to score.
Another wrinkle that we just saw there in that first possession, Andrew Dalton is on the first midfield line for Cornell. It had been Ryan Sheehan for the first couple of games. Now they make the switch to number 42 in white.
And we've had a conversation with Coach Busick this week about, you know, looking for some guys in the midfield, you know, with, a couple guys being injured. That we saw major time from last year. You know, there's some opportunity there for guys to play and get into the rotation.
Cornell goal.
We expect this battle at the dot to be tight all throughout the day. It's another long pole pickup. This time Eddie Rahill is the one who scoops up the face-off for Cornell. Baldwin last year against Mark Silos and Angelo Petrakis just above 50%. This year, he's at 63.8%. It's been excellent. Cornell needs to get this clear over quickly, and it's an offside call against Cornell. So now we'll get to see what this Penn State attack looks like without Trainer, without Lehman, without DeRocco. You have a first-time start from Liam Matthews. You have Will Peden back in the starting lineup, even though he hasn't started this year. And Luke Wallstrom, the lone, quote-unquote, surviving attacker from the depleted squad, is on the starting attack for Penn State. Here's Ethan Long. Up top to Peden. The star freshman Hunter Aquino, number 23 in blue, 7 points last week against Yale.
Tall and long Aquino is.
Wallstrom passes off to Aquino. And Penn State's taking their time. Wallstrom behind the back over the bar.
Good ball movement, cutting to the ball inside, finding that open space as Cornell's defense was rotating.
Short stick on Ethan Long. That's Michael Bozzi covering him. Same, a short stick on Aquino. And the shot, score. Both teams attacking the short stick matchups early. And maybe this prompts a change from both teams. You have deadly goal scorers who have been put on short stick matchups.
Well, I think what ends up happening, and here's a just patient dodge, right? That no slide comes to it. He gets in the middle. He's got the whole goal to shoot at, and it beats it across stick side. Not much there that you're going to be able to do if you're Wyatt Nust.
Well, we talked about this with Coach Busek earlier this week. It seemed like there wanted to be more of a consistent game plan of not committing to the slide too early, and maybe that time Cornell just recognized it a little too late that Aquino was a high threat to score in that position.
Yeah, and he gotten fairly low. He came all off the wing and off the side, from up top, and that just, that difference of how close he is, and then Cornell scrapping here for the ground ball.
Baldwin eventually comes back to it to pick up the ground ball in front of Walker Schwartz. But a lazy pass almost nearly turned over. Kyle Aldridge barely picks up the ground ball in front of Schwartz. And that fires up the Penn State sideline. So it'll be interesting as well to see who comes out for Penn State on its second midfield line. You see Patrick Carricker first. Mac Hobbs alongside with him. Chris Henning battled through the sea of white. His ball is still in. Now it's in the crease of Wyatt Nust. So that time, there's a time where the slide comes in at just the right time for Cornell to force the turnover.
Yeah, and it seemed like almost two guys came to him. It got in that danger zone, inside, and a good job by Nuss of staying square, because I think actually there was a garbage goal opportunity there that I think hit him in the shoulder.
C.J. Kirst. C.J. Kirst. That one just wide left.
He loves that, come right back to that left hand when he gets close to goal line extended. Lowers the stick head to see if he can get the goalie to go low and then to shoot it up high.
It's so difficult with Kirst also because he's so adept at shooting with both hands. A natural lefty, but deadly with the right as well. Brian Lucy on the second midfield line, getting more time with the second midfield due to some injuries. But Ryan Waldman has been a stalwart on that second midfield line. The pass from Goldstein to Kirst. Yep, it is tipped. Last touched by Alex Ross, the junior defenseman from Maryland. Still 22 on the shot clock. Kirst will initiate from well far up top. Slide comes. Waldman a little trouble picking up the ground ball. We're going the other way for Penn State. Nittany Lions want to run in transition. John King. And Eden puts on the brakes on the Nittany Lions fast break. First midfield is trotting back on for the Nittany Lions.
This is early in this game. You look for Cornell to try and figure out what their matchups are going to be.
Jack Amon got past this matchup and scores past Nust. The Rutgers transfer puts Penn State on the top, 2-1.
Right? I mean, it's an opportunity here where if you're Cornell, you come in saying, I'm sure that the plan was to put the long pole on Trainer, and maybe they were even going to try and do some different things. So now you've got to decide pretty quickly. Penn State knew coming on the field who they were going to have personnel-wise, but Cornell's got to decide what are the matchups going to be, where are we going to put the long pole now. We talked in the pregame a little bit about, maybe they would double pole the midfield. Now you've got, a totally different opportunity. So it's not surprising that Cornell's got to sort of settle down defensively and decide what the matchups are, and going to get a face-off win for Cornell on a violation.
So Baldwin will have to exit on the next face-off. Remember the new face-off rules in Division I. If you cause a face-off violation, you are not allowed to take the next face-off. So that will mean either Chase Mullins or Reed Gillis will come out for Penn State on the next face-off. Give a lot of credit for Penn State as well. Brendan Leary setting a beautiful pick to free up Amon. Pass off target for Willem Firth.
The Cornell offense just seems a little bit off so far in this contest. Couple drops.
Third straight game, you could say that. The Cornell offense has started out a bit slow. Started off slow against Hobart, going down 7-3, and then going down 6-1 to Richmond last week. Keller had space to run and dodge. Backs off for Dalton. Willem Firth, he loves that low to high shot from that slot angle.
He had an opportunity. He had the short stick earlier in, and then they changed the matchups around there. Long polling Firth right now, which puts short sticks on two of Cornell's biggest dodgers in the midfield.
Michael Long. Here's the short stick on one of those Dodgers, Hugh Keller, who has a goal already, and this one just passes by Frasian in cage.
11 on the shot clock here for Cornell. So look for a quick hitter right here from Kirst. Put a little two-man game coming.
Two-man with Dalton. Kirst will fire the shot, and that bounces off Frasian, but it's a shot clock reset. Dalton will get it to Michael Long.
1 Cornell.
Right place, right time for Andrew Dalton to pick up the rebound, and Michael Long with acres of space to fire it right past Frasian.
Yeah, and it was just a good opportunity, right? They get the shot clock reset, good ground ball, and just space, right? Everyone had come over. That's what happens when you have a CJ Kirst, right? The entire defense had come to that side of the field. The ground ball gets picked up inside, and then you got Michael Long on the backside open. Again, they also were coming out of a short shot clock, right? So you might be a little bit more aggressive with the slide, so that creates that opportunity where Long is sort of with space on the backside to be able to make the catch and then the shot up high.
And of course, because of the face-off violation to Kobe Baldwin, this is only the 11th face-off that Chase Mullins has taken all year, and it's going to be a win for Cornell.
Andrew Dalton, Long from Dalton at the 8:36 mark, first quarter.
So Cornell could quickly go 2 for 1 here.
Yep, second midfield group for the Big Red.
Sheehan, Lucy, and Waldman. Here's Brian Lucy, his shot over the bar.
And again, you're seeing Cornell, this midfield looking a little bit different. We're seeing Ryan Sheehan with this group. He's played quite a bit with the first group. They've made that switch. Luzzy got more time in the game against Richmond. Got the defender hung here, Kirst.
Alex Ross is the defender. Frosian has come out of his cage and couldn't quite make the pass.
We got a flag down.
Indeed. Cornell on a delayed penalty. Might have been a check to the head of Lucy there. 30 on the shot clock, and Cornell can take a little bit of time to set up a good shot. Lucy, again, a lot of tangling there with Brendan Leary. CJ Kirst. Oh, it's a pass. Somehow find Michael Long. Goldstein with 15 on the shot clock. Around GLE, shot wide of the cage, and this will start the man up.
Good opportunity there for Cornell. They were working here on the left-handed side, and then a good job by Goldstein taking the ball and dodging to the backside, going strong. Could have maybe used one more step, but that's all right. They knew that they had a flag down situation. And Cornell's extra man, the top-ranked extra man unit in the country, they are at 75%. Now, they haven't had a ton of opportunities, right? But they clearly, Willem First has been the guy in the extra man where they've been able to find him for some dunk goals on the backside. And we'll see what Cornell comes out in here initially. Looks like a 1-4-1 where they're going to have Firth behind the cage, and ball will start with Kirstoff here on the wing.
The man up will be for 1 minute. You mentioned Willem Firth, number 51 in white, has 4 of the 6 man-up goals for Cornell this season.
And so much of that Cornell offense, you're seeing great ball movement, extra man. That's what it's all about, right? You're trying to just create space and movement, and they've been able to create those shots for him down low usually.
So again, it's a 1 minute man-up for Cornell. Danny Cadigan and Rory Graham are on as the man-up specialists for the Big Red. Penn State only killing 38.5% of their penalties. Goldstein just missed wide left. And
they got a reset on that. Frasian made the save. Looked like it went off his shoulder.
Coach Busek said they've got to not let the All-American and Frasian get comfortable early. And they were looking for Firth for that dunk goal, like you said. Couldn't quite handle the pass.
I think Penn State was looking for it, too. They knew that was going to come. Here's a fast break, 4-on-3 break with the long pole.
The long pole's Ryan O'Connor. And the pass Bounced over to Wallstrom. Couldn't quite handle it from Peden. But that will kill off the rest of the penalty. We're officially now back at full strength. So for only the third time this year, Cornell fails to convert on the man up. And maybe a way for Penn State to gain some momentum. Liam Matthews wearing the traditional 51 of the Hill Academy graduates.
Not a bad player to emulate. Jeff Teat.
Jack Amon has a goal, wanted in the second one, but went over the cage. Wallstrom was first there on the backup. 26 to shoot for the Nittany Lions. 3 versus 8 matchup.
Still feels like both of these teams are still feeling each other out a
Just
little
about
bit.
to say that. Definitely a tentative period for both of these teams. What about Michael Bazzi nearly whipping the ball out of Wallstrom, but he's got the defender hung up. Matthews free. It's a low stop for Nust.
Saw that the whole way.
We talk about this all the time. Wyatt Nust's specialty in goal is saving those low shots. That's what he saw there. Box has to back off on the clear and finds Bazzi, his fellow short stick D-midi.
Good patience there in the clearing game. No need to rush. First midfield unit coming back in here for Cornell.
We're approaching 3 minutes and 30 seconds without a goal between these two teams after 4 goals through
Hey, Lauren,
the first 7 minutes of the game.
How long into the quarter until we can't take the media? Just curious. Oh, the whole thing.
Kelleher's got the pull. The slide goes to him. What a way to fiend off the check.
So strong.
Yeah. Kirst. Straight up. The righty shot from Kirst got tipped on the way in. It's a race to the backup. And Cornell will get there just in time. 21 to shoot.
It seemed like there were about 5 guys running
Yes.
for that end line there on the run out. Good job by Firth getting down there.
He's got the short stick now in John King. 13 to shoot. It's Andrew Dalton against the short stick now. Under 10. Ryan Goldstein. 5 seconds. It's got to be Hugh Kelleher.
They just
And he's
throw it
going to
in.
dump it away.
Not a bad decision there, right? He was kind of down low, not much of an angle. Just couldn't get his feet set, so he just puts it into the corner. Lets Cornell get their defensive personnel on the field. See what you can do there. Maybe set up your ride a little bit more as well.
Both teams clearing over 90%, exactly where you want to be at. And an easy clear for Penn State. And we're now slowly approaching 5 minutes without a goal. Shot goes wide. Peden couldn't quite find it. Did Cornell get there first?
They did.
TJ Lamb was the one there first. Boy, this Cornell coaching staff loves TJ Lamb and what he brings as a two-way midfielder. Providing a little bit of extra spark in a short stick defensive room that was seen by some people as really, really thin last year.
They had so many injuries, and guys, got an opportunity, and we're seeing them in a much better place this year. Even last year, you remember that Aiden Blake, who was an offensive midi for Cornell, they put him at short stick down the end of the season just because of the injuries they were dealing with.
I give a lot of credit to Alex Ross today. He's shut down C.J. Kirst so far, and now he's here to try and disturb Ryan Sheehan. Kirst picks up the ground ball.
You got a shorty on Michael Long, so he's going to take him behind.
Kyle
They've been able in their ball movement to get him these sorts of matchups from time to time, and they really like it.
Long will score on the short stick. What a good job there from Cornell identifying Long on the short stick matchup against Kyle Aldridge. And the invert puts Cornell back in front.
Right, and you can see the defender here is just trying to take away his right hand, but he says, okay, well, I'll just take my left. He's very ambidextrous, and he's able to settle down and get this lead for Cornell.
Cornell leading 3-2 at the break.
Michael Long. Long unassisted at the...
At Regeneron, our homegrown technologies and novel scientific approaches focus on serious diseases. And our medicines aim to change lives as we relentlessly pursue more. we know that even the tiniest spark of an idea has the potential for more. We move science to medicine because our world is meant for more.
This one for the Ivy Tournament Championship. Through some contact, count it! Rose for three. In there! 1-point game, big time break. Back to the NCAA tournament, dancing yet again. Ivy Madness champions.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with TicketSmarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. TicketSmarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think TicketSmarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at TicketSmarter.com.
Offensive opportunities for both teams. 17 combined shots already. 11 for Cornell, 6 for Penn State. Yet the scoreline only stands at 3-2. Christian Guzman here alongside Tom LaFalce. We were talking about it during the break. Both teams just feeling tentative right now.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State offensively has a little bit of a excuse for that with just some different personnel. At the other end, I think for Cornell, it seems like they're just trying to feel up the matchups at this point to decide how they want to attack this Penn State defense, which has been solid on the year. You know, they're only giving up 8.2 goals a year. They're 14th best in the country against high-level competition.
Yeah, you talk about the high-level competition that Penn State has faced. They've already faced 2 Ivy League opponents.
Just to say, they're almost becoming an Ivy League associate member. The last couple years, they've had this 3 games in a row stretch against Ivy League teams.
Overtime loss to Princeton, and then an impressive 15-9 win over a struggling Yale team.
Yeah, that Yale team is one of the surprises, with several guys back who were out last year coming back. I think a lot of people had big expectations for the Bulldogs.
Oh, off pipe. Long just missed it. And Matthews on the rebound, couldn't quite push it
Goes around
past.
the world, tries to put that in. Misses the cage. They got a full shot clock essentially at this point.
And reset to 60 when a shot's on goal. Aquino.
They'll take advantage of this matchup here. They had the long pole on him, Walker Schwartz. They get the switch.
This is how Aquino scored the first goal of the game for Penn State off the short stick matchup. This time, it's Michael Bazzi, and this one also hit the bar.
He's not afraid to go to the cage, Aquino.
We get the injuries on the Penn State sideline. Aquino now in this game is the leading point scorer for Penn State, coming into this game with 9 goals and 9 assists. Impressive freshman. Aquino was the Big Ten Freshman of the Week due to his 7-point performance against Yale. 2 goals and 5 assists.
Cornell bench looking for a Ward there.
Matthews couldn't handle the hot pass. Jason Singer's going to start running. We're under a minute to go.
Cornell could push this if they want. I think they'll probably just hold for last shot here.
I mean, you got 2 poles on this side of the field. 3 poles, actually, because Brendan Staub has also made an adventure. You imagine Brendan Staub wants to stay on. You know him. Under 30 seconds to go in this first quarter. A low-scoring first quarter by most standards. And look who's got a short stick matchup again. Hugh Kelleher. The pole is on Willem Firth. 10 seconds to shoot. Kirst trying to survey his options. Found Goldstein, but the pass was a little bit to his right and out of bounds. 5 seconds left to go in this first quarter. It'll just be some heaves downfield. And somehow did find a stick of Wallstrom, but a good sea of white just to disturb him and prevent him from getting a shot off to end the quarter. And a really, really tentative quarter, really careful quarter between these 2 teams. It's a top 10 matchup that only sees the scoreline at 3-2 in favor of Cornell.
Now, fans, please direct your attention to the video board.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Auburn, an overtime winner. Princeton into the round of 32. National this one for the Ivy Tournament Championship. Point break. Through some contact, count it. Rose for three. In there. 1 point game, big time break. Back to the NCAA tournament, dancing yet again. Ivy Madness champions.
We see the promises you make. Doing more than your fair share. Working twice as hard. Saving lives, changing lives. And your life's work deserves nothing less than a lifetime guarantee. You made a promise. So did we. TIAA's promise of a guaranteed retirement paycheck for life is a promise that pays off.
Cornell leads 3-2 after the first quarter. This is a Penn State team that is bringing back the head coach, Jeff Tambroni, back to Ithaca, the 9th time he's played his former team. Jeff Tambroni, the leader of Cornell from 2001 to 2010, taking the Big Red to 3 national semifinals, including the championship game in 2009.
Yeah, Jeff Tambroni started his career here at Cornell with Dave Petramala. He was his assistant coach when they both came to Ithaca. And then he took over, led the Big Red to 3 Final Fours. Just a class guy. He's done it's hard to believe. He's been the head coach at Penn State for 15 years now, but he's done a really great job and made this a real hard-nosed team that everyone knows is going to give a great effort. A big part of Coach Tambroni was helping Cornell when George Boyardi passed away here on Shulkoff Field against Binghamton on St. Patrick's Day. And he was able just to help keep that team together. Just did a great job, a great man, and really had a chance to catch up with him for a minute or two before the game. It was just really good to see him.
21st year of George Boyardi's passing, his number 21, finally remembered this season on the anniversary that will be coming up next week of his passing. Emulates the blue-collar style that Cornell Lacrosse is made of. And Jeff Tambroni, as this pass right on the doorstep, finally is score for C.J. Kirst. And shoving now as Kirst, a lot of action in between there.
Have a great look at that.
Finally gets on the score sheet.
Be interested to see if they take a look at this. He was pretty close to being in the crease here. Nice cross. This is a tough feed to make. Cross crease like that. Willem Firth finds him on the backside. And we'll see.
No quite
get anything.
No quite review
looks
coming.
like it's good.
188 goals now for C.J. Kirst.
That is, those cross crease feeds like that from long distances are so difficult to convert. You usually have to get your way through so many sticks, and just a good cut by Kirst to get inside and try and shorten that pass up a little bit. There's an old school win out to the wings.
Eddie Rahal is the one who picks up the face. The face-off department is squarely in the favor of Cornell. 6 face-offs to 2 for Cornell over Penn State, but it's all about now this clear. 10 seconds left for Cornell. Penn State's doing a good job here to pressure Cornell. And Waldstrom is the one who crosses the halfway line. Excuse me, Waldman, not Wallstrom.
Almost seemed like a possession shot there. Just got himself in trouble.
And allows a change as well, as Eddie Rahal was still on from the faceoff.
This is Cornell's second group today, second midfield.
Waldman, Lucy, and Sheehan. Lucy with the ball right now. Other than that first goal, number 6 on Penn State, Alex Ross has done a great job of shutting down C.J. Kirst so far. Sheehan over the bar.
Little jump shot on the alley dodge.
Still plenty of time on the shot clock, 27. As Long will initiate from this near corner. 2-man game. Nearly had the defender hung up. And Long will have to back off. Under 20 on the shot clock now. Lucy. Sheehan's got some open space. What a great save from Frasian.
And he did a nice job of not giving up the rebound there. It kind of seemed like it got in on his body and just sort of tied him up for a second, but he did a nice job of keeping his stick soft so that the ball didn't come pop out. big rebound. Cornell lets the clear here with a long pole.
That's Will Costin, the close defender, who goes across the halfway line.
Got to be careful. He had 2 goals for Penn State in last year's game with the long pole. A little bit of a different field here so far compared to last year's game, where Penn State really opened it up in the second quarter. Blew out Cornell 20-9 in Happy Valley.
Especially with the offensive weapons now missing for Penn State. Much different feeling game right now. Aquino, you know he wants one. Looks like it got deflected on the way in.
Yeah, Aquino really sort of taking the bull by the horns here today. He's really been, seems like almost the only Dodger who's been aggressively going to the cage for Penn State.
And you don't see that too much in college lacrosse nowadays when there's so much talent as you rise through the ranks. But a freshman for Penn State really leading the charge for the offense today.
Anthony Bartolotto with the clear for Cornell.
Another one of those two-way middies that the Cornell coaching staff loves.
It'll be interesting to see if they keep him in here a little bit. Looks like the first midfield's coming out, so probably not.
Bartolotto got a bit of a run on the second midfield line, especially in the Denver game when Alex Holmes went down with the injury during that game. Bartolotto's still staying on.
Well, they may be trying to take advantage of that matchup if they can.
Yeah, because they've got the offensive midi and Ethan Long stuck out on defense. Keller is slipping to get that ball. 22 on the shot clock. Here's the battle. Ross and Kirst. Kirst shot wide left. 17 on the shot clock. Bartolotto is still keeping Long on the field. Willem Firth, another Hill Academy graduate, wearing the 51. Great screen. Willem Firth. Did Frostian get a touch on that?
Hit the pipe, and that's a reset, though. Still a shot, so Cornell will maintain possession here.
Willem Firth
Full shot clock.
Almost beating the All-American in Frostian, who had 14 saves and only allowed 8 goals. Last time these two teams played in Happy Valley last year. Keller, shot wide left, and Ross is there first.
Yeah, Ross with the run out. He's done a really nice job on CJ Kirst so far in this contest. Kirst just hasn't felt like he's been able to get to those sort of his favorite spots on the field. He had the 1 goal on the feed, but from a dodging perspective has not been able to sort of create the opportunities he's used to getting. So that's why he shoots such a high percentage. He can get himself onto those places where he wants to be.
Ross
makes car insurance easy. With the Geico app, you can check your policy on the go and get access to 24/7 claim support.
Yeah! Let's make this easy!
You know, that felt a lot closer.
For car insurance made easy, get more with Geico.
Today, I choose us how to screen us for colon cancer. Yeah, on my land, not theirs. Give me Cologuard or give
Excuse me? We can do that for you.
What, no battle?
Nope. Just a prescription.
Victory!
Cologuard is an effective and non-invasive colon cancer screening test. False positive and negative results may occur. Those at high risk should use colonoscopy. Skip the drama. Ask your provider or request Cologuard online.
29 combined shots for this game between Penn State and Cornell. Only 10 shots on goal combined for each team. Definitely hasn't been the cleanest of shooting performances from either Cornell or Penn State, as it's only a 4-2 lead for the Big Red in the second quarter.
You know, and both of these teams are going to start getting into their league schedule soon, so this is a really good test for them to make sure they are ready to go when those opportunities to position yourselves for automatic bids to the NCAA tournament start.
The Rutgers transfer Jack Amo has 1 goal, wants a second, and Wyatt Nuss saw that one all the way.
I think he'd like that one back. He just put it right into Wyatt Nuss' stick. Yep. Not a lot of speed on that one.
Nustin barely had to move the stick. And it's an easy clear as Brendan Staub finds Michael Bozzi. For the first time in what seems like forever, the sun's starting to peek out in upstate New York. And now CJ Kirst taking his time against Alex Ross. Again, I mentioned second team All Big Ten last year. All-American, honorable mention by multiple outlets. Alex Ross has done a great job against who many perceive to be one of the Tewaaraton Award favorites. Luke Robinson has gotten into the game as Coach Busek continues to toy around with who is going to go into the midfield.
And there's going to be opportunities for guys to get out on the field here.
Nothing on Cage yet.
Oh, and Long's got the short stick. He did a nice job working to get open. Tried to shut him off. They must have had a switch. So now it's very short time, though.
Under 10 seconds long. Will dunk it off for Goldstein.
Just a really nice job. That's now a 4-goal run for Cornell to be able to go with short time. Just Long is able. You see the slide comes. You get actually two guys moving, and then the cut to the back pipe by Goldstein to be able to convert, extend this to a 5-2 Cornell lead. Offensively, that's the thing, when you have Goldstein behind the cage, you end up seeing Long a little bit more either in front of the crease. Sometimes he'll come on out to the wing, and sometimes he is able to, because he's not sort of more of the early offense carriers, guys are switching off of him, and he's able to, when he gets that short stick, they make sure they get him the ball, and then he inverts where he's most comfortable.
Cornell goal scored by number 30,
Face-off win goes to Penn State on this possession. I think people forget as well with how this Cornell offense looks with Ryan Goldstein at X. Before Goldstein started to play last year, it was Michael Long back at X.
Absolutely. And he's, this is in Long and Kirst, two guys with tremendous experience.
Especially with each other.
Yeah, even longer than their time at Cornell.
Both hailing from Del Barton School in New Jersey. 3-goal lead for Cornell halfway through the second period. And again, it bears mentioning, if you're just tuning into this game, no Matt Trainer, no Kyle Lehman, no Ryan DeRocco for Penn State today. DeRocco didn't even make the trip. Trainer and Lehman are on the sidelines but not dressed. And the ball was forced away from Mac Hobbs. He had tripped up on his way trying to make a dodge past Jason Singer.
I think it was the right call. They may have been looking for a push with possession there, but I think it was a good no call there. And Cornell gets the clear. Have an opportunity to see if they can extend their lead here. They've got their first midfield unit will come out. Every time you can get a goal with your second midfield unit, that's a nice boost of momentum, right? And then if you get a possession right after where you can bring your first group, that's how you can put a run together.
And like you said, a 4-goal run for Cornell right now. Kirst versus Ross. Once again, Kirst got around Ross this time. Tries to open up his angle a bit more. C.J. Kirst.
And that's one of the places on the field that he loves to dodge from. That low wing, he's able, Cornell, you could see, cleared everything out for him. Just brought one cutter through. And then just keeps going right through the stick, right? When you got to play him with a body, because he'll just run right through a stick as he did right there.
188 career goals for C.J. Kirst. 2 more to tie Mike French.
And that's a number that's been there for a long, long time. Just such a dynamic player, and just the way he's able to create his own shot like that is one of his strengths. But then his ability to ride and get ground balls, he's just such an all-around lacrosse player.
And State will pick up a second straight face-off win, though, starting to equalize in that department. Shot, score. Wallstrom found himself free on the left slot.
And that's what I was just going to say. This is an important possession for Penn State. And there's the opportunity. Again, you see Aquino has the ball. He just sort of comes, threatens a little bit. And then Cornell was sucked inside, and a nice job of the pop out on the backside by Wallstrom. Stops the run at 5.
And you expect Luke Wallstrom to play an important part of helping balance this Penn State attack. He's the only real regular starter on the attack that is playing today for Penn State, with no Lehman and no DeRocco.
Penn State goal scored by number 21, Luke Wallstrom.
And after the ground ball scrum, Baldwin comes back to get it.
Wallstrom from Aquino at the 6:02 mark, second quarter.
That's 3 straight face-off wins for Penn State, and now the face-off advantage is only 6-5 in favor of Cornell.
And again, they're coming right back with this first group.
Long, Aquino, and Amo.
I'm sure they're going to want to run, and they've got a flag down.
So Penn State will go on the man up as Cornell's trying to aggressively get the man up started at least, but that shot went off the bar, so it's a fresh 60. Aquino's going to shoot wide, and Penn State will now start their man up.
I think that was one that went off the crossbar, it seemed.
Yeah, it did.
So we'll have the man up 47%, can't read my own handwriting. 16th ranked extra man unit. Cornell struggles with the man down. Opponents are at 50% on the year, although Cornell has done a nice job throughout the year of just staying out of the penalty box. It's sort of been an interesting season for Cornell. Haven't had a lot of either man up or man down opportunities.
Only the 11th time this season that Cornell was playing man down. This will be for a minute. The penalty's on Gilmartin.
1 minute hit to the head.
Check to the head against Luke Gilmartin. And the pass was looking inside for Matthews. Couldn't quite find it. Brendan Staub has the ground ball. And now a man down clear coming up for Cornell. Penn State succeeded on their man down clear against the Cornell man up, and Brendan Staub takes it across. Now it's up to Michael Long to help clear off the rest of the man down penalty.
And now you're running clock.
25 seconds left to clear off the rest of the man down. Now under 20. And CJ Kirsten will just hold the ball near midfield with the clear successful. 10 seconds left on the man up. Or for Penn State. Firth has the short stick, can decide to jog for an invert if he wants it, with the penalty now released, full strength. And Coach Busek's going to call a timeout as well to reset things as well.
Cornell has called a timeout.
6-3 the lead for Cornell here with 4 minutes and change left in the second quarter.
And this is a good opportunity for Cornell. They do a nice job of collapsing on the ball inside. Really didn't give up very much of a good look there. Confident in the clear. Staub just runs it up the side, and Long does a nice job getting out into the alleys. You can see Cornell's upcoming schedule. It doesn't get any easier than what it has been. You're moving right in against Princeton next Saturday. A Yale team that we mentioned earlier in this broadcast, that has a lot of talent. I'm sure the record's not going to matter in terms of, when the Elis come here to Ithaca, when Cornell goes to New Haven. And then Penn, who's probably the top defensive unit in the Ivies, both Princeton and Penn.
You could argue in the nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And Princeton and Penn both had the opportunity last weekend to play Carolina and Duke, and then they switched opponents. And, Princeton comes out of there with 2 impressive wins. They have the win against this Penn State team in Happy Valley. So this is going to be a big stretch for Cornell to be able to make their resume as strong as possible for where they want to be come May.
Should the rankings hold, and you expect Princeton to most likely take the win in the New Jersey rivalry tonight against Rutgers, this will be 3 versus 4 next week here at Sholkoff Field. It's been a while since we've seen that high stakes of a Ivy League matchup with 2 such highly ranked teams. And again, assuming the results hold, that's what you get here next week in Ithaca.
Well, and it's a little bit different than the long-term history. Typically the Cornell-Princeton game was the last Ivy League game of the season, and it's only in the last few years that it's moved, and it's now the opener. So a different feel to that. You're going to get a test right away.
Remember the game last year between Cornell and Princeton, a pair of 10-goal runs for each team to swing the game wildly, and then it was Matt Dooley who came up with the hero. Hugh Kelleher, we saw that swim jog last week against Richmond to tie the game against the Spiders, and almost found the goal this time from a really, really narrow angle.
Yeah, only 10 on the shot clock here. Cornell's got to go quickly.
It'll be Kirst against Ross once again. CJ Kirst once again spinning away. 2 seconds, 1. Can Kirst get something off? Not quite.
And that was the flash double that came. The short stick defender
That was Brendan
for Penn
Leary.
State. Leary did a nice job of just interrupting the timing there and just ran out of time.
So an excellent job from Penn State to come out of the timeout and kill off the planned Cornell attack. It's going to have to be Parham on the clear. He'll take it over. Parham wants it. Gets the slide coming, and the flag's going to get called on Kelleher.
That is textbook push from behind.
And what a job there from Kevin Parham to draw the flag against Kelleher.
Yeah, I mean, that was right in the back. The Cornell coaches didn't like it at all. They were out on the field trying to see what's going on. Looks like we've got a timeout here.
Most likely from Jeff Chambroni as he tries to draw up something man up with 3:05 left to go. What have you seen so far from this Penn State offense that is so undermanned right now with three of its top players not available?
I mean, it looks like they just don't have that sort of alpha dodger out there, right? You're seeing Aquino has taken several opportunities to go to the goal for the Nittany Lions, and then you're seeing Amon go a couple times, but that his last opportunity just sort of not a real high velocity shot that Wyatt Nuss just gobbled right up. So here you go. They've been doing a nice job in this quarter of getting possessions off their face-off game, and now you had one opportunity, extra man. Now your second opportunity, and you need to cash these types of things in. But again, to your personnel, right? You're gonna have different personnel in man up too, right? And I actually think it's almost harder with man up. When you're playing just your regular offense, everybody sort of knows the regular offense, but to have multiple guys that you got to cycle into your extra man unit, that's a little bit more challenging.
The man-up specialist will be Mac Hobbs for Penn State. It's a 30-second technical on Kelleher for the push in the back.
Running the same motion they did the first time and through the 1-3-2.
They were looking for Matthews on the crease in the last man up. This time, this shot is wide right of the cage. Still 14 seconds on the man up. Aquino has some space. 5 seconds left on this man up. 2, 1, shot, score. Hobbs, the man up specialist.
Yeah, and Cornell just stayed pretty packed there. They really didn't sort of extend much at all there. I actually thought Aquino, where he had gotten to on the field, would maybe try and take it, and then unfortunately Staub was in the passing lane but didn't get the ball, and then you're just able to have that opportunity with hands free to step in and shoot and get this to a 6-4 Cornell lead.
And it all starts with the clear from Kevin Parham, and then drawing the foul, the close defender. And a face-off against Cascaded. A violation against Cascaded, so he'll have to sit.
This is for number 23, Hunter Aquino.
Baldwin wants to dodge himself. Already 2 goals for Kobe Baldwin this season, but he'll go off the foul. Two-goal run for Penn State now, after Cornell stretched it out to a 6-2 lead.
You know Penn State wasn't going to go away here. They're going to try and, they have a lot of pride. They're going to see what they can do. And
Amon got free on the pick, off the bar. Cornell trying to pick up the ground ball to go in transition. Amon is right there as well. And eventually it's Walker Schwartz who almost had the ball, but it's Will Costin who picks it up. And he'll take it across the halfway line. And Aquino will now start to settle things down a little bit.
And they can take a lot off this clock. They can get it to about 30 seconds if they want.
They'll bring the first midfield line back on as well. Amon, Aquino, and Long. Fake on the flip from Long. And another flag. It's a third penalty that will be coming up against Cornell.
Well, I spoke too early in this contest where I said Cornell has been doing a good job staying out of the box defensively, and here's their third of the quarter.
And with that, you'll imagine that Penn State will take the rest of this clock because they'll have the penalty timer coming up and the possession as well. So Penn State can basically hold it for the rest of the half. Amon fails to pick up the pass there. No harm, no foul, because, again, Penn State's guaranteed the next possession.
Well, and the longer they hold it here,
tried the behind the back and the around the world from long again. But
what I was going to say is the longer they hold it here, that gives them the opportunity. Now, if they had held it out, another 15 seconds, then maybe they're saying, let's hold it so that we bring it to the third quarter with possession. If it was a 1 minute foul.
It is a 1 minute foul. It's a slash on Matt Dooley.
Yeah, so they could have now with only 52 seconds left in the half. I don't think you're going to hold here because you're just not going to have enough time to get a man up started in the third quarter. And you got a good enough face-off guy where you just say, all right, let's see if we can go here.
Yeah, even though Kobe Baldwin is losing the face-off battle 7-5, still feel good enough for him to win his fair share against Cascadon, who will not be able to take the next face-off because of the violation. Penn State 1 of 2 on the man up. Aquino, that one went wide.
Got to get him. Oh, he does have a ball.
There's 35 left on the man up, so this will take us the rest of the way, and it'll also be a man down now to start off the third half, assuming Cornell can clear. Another interception as Walker Schwartz on the ball. We'll just try and settle things down with 10 seconds left. Cornell is not in any hurry. They don't have to clear it before. Well, it'll be a 1 second differential.
1 second yeah, exactly.
Having to do a little bit of math there, and that'll essentially just run out the clock.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about this because
we'll see what the officials say. They might put a second back on the clock because of the turnover.
And then they can hold.
And essentially give a Penn State possession without having to take a face-off into the next
let's
into
see
the half.
If they take an opportunity to look at this.
Yeah, relatively new to Division I. There is review if needed, but the officials will not take a look at it.
0.8 seconds.
Yeah, so that means Penn State will hold on. That should mean that Penn State gets the possession to start the second half because they are still on the man-up timer.
Yep.
So it's a 6-4 Cornell lead heading into the halftime break. But boy, the momentum right now is firmly in Penn State's side.
Yeah, Penn State did a nice job. Cornell opened it up in that second quarter. It felt like they were going to be able to really open it up a little bit more, and Penn State just stays with it. They're able to move the ball, take an opportunity of an extra man, and then now they'll be able to start the second half with a short man-up opportunity.
We'll take a quick break here at Cornell. Take a look at some of the first half highlights and the first half stats on the other side of the break. It is Cornell 6, Penn State 4 at halftime.
One sandwich that says, "This guy appreciates wild-caught Alaskan fish." And a second that says, "This guy would like another sandwich." 2 for $6.99. Arby's, we have...
What are we doing today, Coach?
So, today, we're going to work on our checking on...
Oh. Sorry, I heard checking. A bit of a misunderstanding.
I meant checking on how we can help save our customers money on their car insurance.
And whether they need car, home, boat, or pet coverage.
Precisely. Now, let's go again. Susan?
Always wanted to do that.
My turn.
Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
Best day of training so far.
How's your elbow?
It's killing me.
But it's 1, 2, and 1, 6,
Whirlpool freestanding ranges come with all kinds of air cooking modes. For those weeknights that are totally up in the air. Whirlpool. Everyday care.
I am Polestar 3. I am pure electric performance. From the straightaways to the hairpin turns, I am designed to be driven. The drive of tomorrow. I am Polestar 3. View offers at polestar.com.
Halftime here at Chokoff Field, Cornell leads 6-4 over Penn State. As we take a look at some of the first half highlights, the goal scoring has been a little bit limited compared to what you saw from last year between these two teams and what you probably expect from both of these teams in general.
Yeah, Aquino, I think for Penn State has been, their best dodger in this contest so far. You see here, he's been around, created extra man assist, and he had that first opening goal. You see here, this is the extra man goal, finding on the backside.
It took a while for this Penn State offense to get really going, and because of that, it was really Cornell who started to stretch out a big lead. It was 6-2 the lead at one point. That was, after the Penn State offense, the Cornell offense had to get a bit going as well, with C.J. Kirsch really getting shut down by Alex Ross at times.
Yeah, and Michael Long with 2 goals and an assist. Here's taking advantage of the short stick matchup, coming with his strong left hand. Willem Firth here dodged with the long pass, cross crease to C.J. Kirsch. Converts there, and that's where Cornell was able to really get the lead opened in that second quarter on the 2 Kirsch goals. Then Penn State came right back at the other end.
2 C.J. Kirsch goals. He's now only 2 goals away from tying Mike French, and 3 to pass him for the all-time Cornell goals lead. Again, this is a Penn State team that's not going to go away quietly. The goalkeepers haven't had to do too much. It's only been 5 combined saves between both goalkeepers.
I was just going to say that. Wyatt Nuss only 3 saves in the first. Jack Fracion for Penn State only has 2. So, you're not seeing, opportunities here where Cornell or Penn State are really putting lots of shots on the cage so far.
So we'll take another quick break here at Chokoff Field. We'll come back with taking a closer look at the first half stats between Penn State and Cornell.
Okay, we're down by a lot, but he's got a plan.
Geico makes car insurance easy. With the Geico app, you can check your policy on the go.
3. I am pure electric performance. From the straightaways to the hairpin turns, I am designed to be driven. The drive of tomorrow. I am Polestar 3. View offers at polestar.com.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
Back at Chokoff Field, Cornell leads 6-4 over Penn State at halftime. Let's take a look at some of the first half stats between these two teams. The big discrepancy is in the shots department. Penn State has closed it up a little bit, but the accuracy just hasn't been there, as we'll take a look at some of the first half stats. Cornell is up 22-9 in shots, but the shots on goal are only 8-7.
Yeah, and it was even there in that second quarter, 10 apiece, in terms of where they were at in goals. You're seeing the ground balls are very even. Turnovers, Cornell had 5 in the first quarter, so got a little better in that second quarter throughout the game. But I think for Cornell, you end up with a 6-4 lead at the half. But it's an evenly played contest, I think. Neither goalie standing out, and the offenses just looked a little bit out of sync, I'd say. The defense have done a nice job in their base defense. They haven't been aggressively sliding. They've just played the individual matchups and done a nice job.
Very even matchup so far. It's a reason why Cornell only has a 2-goal lead. We'll take one more quick break here at halftime. We'll take a look at some of the out-of-town scoreboard scores. You can see 3 other teams in the Ivy League are currently in action. We'll update you on those scores when we come back here for the start of the second half between Cornell and Penn State.
Okay, we're down by a lot, but he's got a plan.
Geico makes car insurance easy. With the Geico app, you can check your policy on the
electric performance. From the straightaways to the hairpin turns, I am designed to be driven.
Wyatt Nuss warming up for the start of the second half. 6-4 Cornell leads after the first 30 minutes of play. Let's take a look at some of the out-of-town scores right now, and a big result happening in New Haven, Connecticut right now between Yale and Denver.
Well, we mentioned that Yale, that they had a lot of talent. They've got an 11-3 lead on the 16th ranked Denver Pioneers in the second quarter. 12th ranked Harvard has a 9-5 lead over Michigan in the second quarter, and then Dartmouth and Utah are tied 4-4 at the half.
A couple other Ivy League teams set to get started later today at 3:30. Penn, the Quakers, will host Villanova in the Philadelphia South Pennsylvania matchup. And 7 o'clock later tonight, a New Jersey rivalry between number 4 Princeton and Rutgers, with Princeton coming to town next week.
And here you see Jack Grayson hasn't had a lot of opportunities so far in his stats on skiing. Hasn't had an opportunity to get a lot of saves, but it's been solid throughout this contest.
Grayson with only 2 saves so far today. That's only has 3 saves today as well. So a large part of that also is that the shots on the edge haven't been on target again. 22 shots for Cornell, only 8 of them on goal, and 19 shots from Penn State, and only 7 of them on goal.
Well, and Grayson, I think he should point out he's wearing number 11 for Penn State. It's one of what they consider their special jerseys. He's wearing that number this year in honor of Michael Jacko, who lost a family member. He was a senior, and the outgoing senior selects the winner or the wearer of that jersey to represent him in his country. So Grayson honored this year for Penn State.
It's one of my favorite cross traditions across all programs, choosing jersey numbers to honor such great meanings. The Marion number 1 is Syracuse 22, and we see it also here for Cornell and Penn State, the 2 Hill Academy graduates in Rollinsworth and Ian Matthews, wearing the 51 that all Hill Academy graduates are wearing.
Yeah, and you can see that it means a lot to those players, right? It's one of those things. You become so attached to your number that you do almost anything to not have to give it up.
Yeah.
But to be honored in that way, makes it, I think, a little bit easier.
And of course, no one will wear 21 here at Cornell anymore in honor of George Moriarty. But the hard hat does go to Charlie Fox this year. You know, a lot of Cornell fans and the coaches love Michael Long and CJ First, also earning that hard hat earlier in their careers. Penn State still has a bit of time left on the man up. It's only going to be 8 seconds, but that means they do not have to start with the face-off for the start of this third quarter.
But they still have
to.
But they do have to clear the ball, so it essentially is going to eat up really all of that extra man opportunity.
At the very least, it does give them the possession. So Penn State will start with the opening possession here in the third quarter, trying to gain a bit of momentum, cut this into a 1-goal deficit. Penn State led at 1.21. That's before Cornell went on a 5-goal run, and a Aquino shot blocked on the way in. And you thought it was cloudy before in Ithaca? A lot of blue sky now, as you can see with the sun beating down at Cholkoff Field. Absolutely beautiful day for lacrosse here as we continue into the third quarter. Is that Michael Bozzi? Who left Michael Bozzi open for a goal-scoring opportunity? His 2nd goal of the season.
Yeah, and it was sort of just slow developing. It was sort of one of these things where it looked like Cornell was going to pull it out a little bit, but yet you're able to see Bozzi get open, just able to take advantage of that opportunity. Almost could have found Goldstein on the back pipe, but he just takes advantage and goes to the goal.
It's only the 3rd goal of Michael Bozzi's career here at Cornell. And what a time for the short stick D-Midi to come up with a goal. And of course, with Jack Kaskanen not able to take a face-off because of the violation, it's Michael Melkonian who will take the face-off. The freshman will pick it up against Kobe Baldwin. How about that to give Cornell a bit of a boost? Number 25 in white, picking up his 6th face-off win in 7 tries this year.
Yeah, that's big if you're Cornell. You get through, you get off that man-down situation, you get a goal, and now you get a possession, and you got Kaskaden able to take the next draw.
Yeah, me and Howie talked about that a lot the last time we were on the broadcast here, how much this team loves Michael Melkonian as well, and what they think of him as he develops. Only a freshman from Rockville Center in New York, number 25 in white, winning a big face-off.
The Long Island face-off team.
Seems like Long Island produces some good lacrosse talent.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
How about Andrew Dalton? Just misses wide left, and did a flag fly? Yes, it did.
Looks like it's going to be a foul on Parnham.
And it's an interference call.
We both saw it at the same time. So Cornell will be able to have their 2nd extra man opportunity. It's only a 30-second opportunity here. So it'll be one of what they'll consider one of their more quick hitter type plays. You usually got some plays in your playbook where you for your 60-second penalties and other ones that develop more quickly for your 30-second fouls, or that you would use if you go through your first play or first formation with a 60-second foul, you come back to it. If a shot out of the end line, you got 15 seconds, you want one of your quick hitters.
Cornell looked for Willem Firth on the traditional dunk that they've been searching for pretty much the entire year. Couldn't quite do so on the last man up. Kirst has a bit of opportunity. He'll back off. Already halfway through the man up. And this shot is wide left. Looks like that was Danny Cadigan, one of two man-up specialists on this Cornell team, him and Rory Graham. And the pass to Cadigan is off target. Matt Dooley's trying to fight for it. Liam Matthews beats him there first. And so that'll end the rest of the Cornell man up. Full strength, shot, score. Oh boy, Alex Ross in transition. He's done a great job of shutting down C.J. Kirst, and he gets rewarded with a goal, his first goal in his prolific career.
Well, and Cornell, it looks like all the midfielders ran to the substitution box because you have Ross coming down the middle like that. There was actually a fifth Penn State player. They would have had a 5-on-3, but Ross just lets one fly, and that can just kill you. It gets like a momentum boost there for Penn State. So if you're Cornell, you want to come right back.
Another important face-off here between Baldwin. It looks like Melkonian's going to take another face-off.
Those pole goals are always such momentum. You can see that that guys just get excited about when a long pole goes. So Frecion came all the way up the field out of his goal.
And important there, Baldwin jumping a little early. He can't take the next face off. So a little bit of the momentum stifled. You saw that a lot from Cornell last year. Them getting long pole goals from Brendan Staub. This time, it's a close D in Alex Ross, who might have jump-started Penn State, but now they've just got to kill off this Cornell possession first. Kelleher, head full of steam, missed wide left.
Didn't have a ton of angle there. He got a little too low.
It looked like Frocian had the net covered all the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect view for us from our line of sight up here on Sholkoff Field in the press box.
Long and Dalton behind cage. And Michael Long will back off. Will Costin is the close D covering him. Michael Long. Firth. First gets a small screen. Now looking for his options. 30 to shoot for C.J. Kirst. 11:53 left to go in the game. Kirst falls down. Kelleher. Is the ball still in his stick somehow?
No, got soaked up.
The ball is eventually picked up by Cornell. It's a fresh 80 on the shot clock because of the turnover and the chaos. The dive. Oh, that one. Yeah, it looked like Frecion just got it. I'm not sure it was off the bar, Frecion, but boy, Kelleher denied at the doorstep. Boy, if you were searching for the over in this game, it doesn't look too good right now.
And I was surprised there was a reset in there. I'm not sure the possession was ever really gained.
Willem Firth, another, that was either blocked on the way in or stopped by Frecion.
Yeah, it seems like Frecion's really seeing the ball well here now.
And this is what Coach Busek was afraid of, letting Frecion settle into the game.
And so much of that I found is that, against a goalie like that, you really want to try and look for ball movement. Don't let him get locked in. Make him have to move his feet. Make him have to make sure he's in the right position. Give guys shots from high percentage spaces on the field.
A goal and 2 assists for Hunter Aquino today, coming off a 7-point performance against Yale. Jack Amon has a goal. Same with Luke Wallstrom. Interception nearly by Box, but Aquino picks it right back up. Dooley directs traffic.
Cornell's trying to get the matchups here.
Long. Misses wide left, or wide right, excuse me, and Brendan Staub's there first.
Boy, both of these offenses just are just a little bit out of sync. The defenses have just seen solid. Even there in a situation where Cornell was clearly running around a little bit.
Box needs an option, though. It's getting forced away by Peden. 5 seconds to clear here for Cornell. Needs to get across the halfway line. 2, 1. Clear does come across. Eddie Rahal with the reception. And now C.J. Kirst will settle things down.
Good patience there. You know, you could see they went through different options. They tried the one side, then they tried the box side. You usually always clear away from the box initially, and that's what they were trying to do.
Your second midfield out here for Cornell. Ryan Waldman's working against the short step and Jack Aldridge. Potential transition game coming in here. Waldman shoved to the ground. Great job, Alex Ross on the switch. Boy, Alex Ross has had an excellent game today.
And you can see very clearly Penn State at the defensive end trying to use their short sticks to really try and be physical and interrupt Cornell's sort of momentum, make things go just a little bit wider, and then that lets the long pole stay on the matchup.
Cornell averages 16 and 3/4 goals a game. Penn State a little under 13.5 goals per game. A flag's going to come again. Cornell about to go man down for the 4th time today. Eden's forced away, 30 seconds on the shot clock. But again, Penn State's going to get the next possession, barring a goal. Carragher backs off. A rare run for this Penn State second midfield line. Wallstrom with under 10. Hobbs can't quite pick it up cleanly, and this should start the Penn State man up. As Bozzi picks up the ground ball, and it will.
It's a good opportunity here for Penn State. Again, ever since I said that Cornell has been doing a good job staying out of the box, this will be their 4th penalty of the day.
Coach Busek's not going to be happy with you next time we talk with him.
I know, gosh.
Penn State, Cornell had only taken 10 man downs the entire season leading into this game, an average of 2.5 per game. The penalty is on Gil Martin for 30 seconds.
No, again, Penn State 47% on the year with extra man. So they're dangerous.
9 of 19 coming into this game, but only 1 of 3 so far today. They'll try again here on their 4th one.
Started a circle set.
The man-up goal came from number 14 at the bottom of your screen, Matt Combs. He's got the ball right now. Aquino backing down. Time winding down, 10 seconds on a man-up, and Amon's shot goes wide left.
Cornell really keeping things packed in. They're giving them these shots from distance.
Trusting Wyatt Nuss to make a long save, should he need to. We're back to full strength. Here comes Charlie Box. And the pass from Aquino is deflected. Sticks in the passing lane. Jason Singer's got the ground ball. 1 for 4 now, Penn State on man-up opportunities. And now comes the clear. And a strong stick from Michael Bozzi.
Just able to run it right out.
7 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. 7-5 the lead for Cornell. Only a goal for each team in this 3rd quarter. And this battle continues all day long. C.J. Kirst, Alex Ross.
Ross has really done a nice job.
You say that about Ross, but Kirst still has 2 goals. Wants an assist and just missed Goldstein on the dunk.
Called him in the crease. Goldstein in the crease.
So a turnover here. It's now 7 Cornell turnovers to 5 from Penn State. And Frosian will start the clear. He's looking for his options. Eventually finds his long stick in Kevin Parnham. And now Long will settle things down. Last I checked, no relation between Ethan Long and Michael Long. Ethan Long for Penn State, hailing from Calvert Hall in Maryland. Amon off of Nust. Only the 4th save that Wyatt Nust has had to make, but a great one there in his specialty, the low save for Wyatt Nust. And Anthony Bartolotto He's so good on the clear himself, will take it across the halfway line. Hugh Kelleher's got a short stick matchup once again.
And then Cornell's going to go with their second unit. Kelleher was stuck on the defensive end there, so helps make sure they get the clear, but
Kelleher making a
change him out.
Slow jog off the field for him. Brian Luzzi.
And Luke Robinson in with this midfield group now.
Here is Robinson. Passes it off to Goldstein. Once again, it's Kirsten Ross.
See how they do a nice job of working through those two-man plays, not switching.
Long backs off. Here's Kirst once again. Will shift to his right this time. Kirst trying to back down. Met with resistance again from Ross. Time winding down on this shot clock. Robinson will have a go wide right.
Goldstein with 9 to shoot. Look for him to. He's a little quieter today. Long's had some opportunities. We'll see if Goldstein maybe coming off the end line.
Only 9 seconds on this
Looks
shot
like
clock.
the referee tells him to get his mouthpiece in.
Goldstein against Parnham slips a little. 5 seconds. Goldstein trying to find something in the middle. The ball's bouncing around. This will be a shot clock violation against Cornell. That fires up the Penn State sideline.
Again, neither of these offenses are really lighting it up today.
Not what you would have expected at all from both of these teams. Again, Cornell 16.75 goals per game. Penn State 13.4 goals per game. Cornell's failed to score less than 12 goals in a game this season so far.
But I guess in the end, all that matters if you get one more than your opponent.
Long is forced away by Bozzi. 40 seconds on the shot clock.
See, and there's a difference where Cornell switched through the two-man game.
Now Bozzi's on the attacker, Wallstrom, who has a goal. Wants a second one. Another save from Nust off his legs. The ground ball's the stop. Wideness is starting to feel it. A fourth save for him. Schwartz is trying to play games in this transition game.
At a certain point, when you get that close to the midfield line, you just go if you're trying to get a defender on.
And now here comes this first midfield line for Cornell. They put the pull on Willem Firth. So Kelleher and Dalton will have the short sticks. Here is Dalton. Firth. It's been a long time without a goal. Let's change that. Hugh Kelleher says, you put a short stick on me, I'll take advantage of that. Second goal for Hugh Kelleher.
And for him, he had a dodge very early in this possession here. He just seals out the defender with his body, gets underneath, be able to put the bouncer past Frazier.
Only 3 goals in this quarter, but Cornell now has a slim advantage. 3 goals the lead for Cornell over Penn State.
Cornell goal scored by number 27, Hugh Kelleher. Kelleher unassisted.
At Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are
Penn State.
From signing day to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeart Radio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at ticketsmarter.com.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Auburn, an overtime winner. Princeton into the round of
in the Big Green of Dartmouth. That will do it. The Brown Bears and the Lions walk off. And Cornell will play on championship Sunday.
2:44 left to go in the third quarter. The Hugh Kelleher goal that was just scored broke a streak of 10 minutes without a goal for either side. It's an 8-5 Cornell lead.
Yeah, and these, the defenses have been solid, and the goaltenders didn't have a lot of saves in that first half, but each of them have made several here in this third quarter. So Cornell, the opportunity here, they get that back up to a 3-goal lead.
And we'll see another battle between the backup Fogos, Michael Melkonian for Cornell and Chase Mullins for Penn State. Ground ball somehow squirting into the Cornell offensive end. Still up for grabs, and it will be Penn State who picks up the ground ball. As Ryan O'Connor tries to fish it out of the corner and does so successfully. Clear goes over to Penn State.
Surprised Melkonian did not get off there. Oh, now he comes through.
And the first midfield back on for Penn State. And you talked about this at halftime with between us when we were off the air. Because of the limitations for Penn State personnel-wise on offense, this first midfield line's getting a lot of run.
Yeah, and you see how that impacts them come the fourth quarter.
Will Peden. And the attackers draw on the short stick of Gilmartin. 30 seconds on the shot clock for Penn State. Peden starts. Matthews left alone for a second. Almost gets past TJ Lamb. 20 seconds now on the shot clock. And the shot score. What a great job from Liam Matthews to fall down and still get the shot off.
I don't know if Wyatt Nuss thought that shot was coming from there. It was from a distance. He was kind of falling. He looked like he reacted a little bit late on the shot. Just comes across, just slowly. And as he's falling down, Wyatt Nuss just a little bit slow to react. And it was a nice down low shot, down stick side, actually.
And what an interesting change we're seeing here as well from Coach Busek and the Cornell coaching staff. They're sticking with Michael Melkonian for it seems like the rest of the second half at least. Unless something drastic changes. Goalie Baldwin will win this face-off. Cornell 9 face-off wins. Penn State 7. And an opportunity for Penn State to cut the deficit to 1. The Nittany Lions led early 2-1 in the first quarter, haven't led since. Largest lead for Cornell at one point was 6-2 in the second quarter. Because of the relatively quick-hitting goal as well, Penn State's going to keep the first midfield line out as well. Along one of those first midfield line middies against Charlie Box.
Really, the difference in this game was that second quarter run from Cornell.
Matthews denied by Nust. Met him stick side high. Gave Wyatt Nuss 6 saves on the afternoon now.
It's interesting. Usually you get Hugh Kelleher as the last midfielder to sub in. Here they brought him out first to help with the clear.
And it helps when you have his big rumbling body to get the clear over.
Now part of that is because they love to have him dodge sort of downhill.
Cursed. Wide left.
They love to have him dodge downhill coming out of the substitution box. We haven't seen a lot of that today. So maybe they decide, all right, let's bring him out first, get him in the clearing game.
Time winding down on the clock. Only 5 seconds left. One's trying to find something. And that will do it for the third quarter. It's been tight the entire way. 3-2 in the first quarter, 3-2 in the second quarter, and here 2-2 in the third quarter. There's not much separating these two teams.
No, there isn't, and you can see that the defenses have really come to play, and the goalies now have really stepped up the level of their play here in this third quarter.
It's going to be an interesting 15 minutes here at Chillicothe Field when we come back here on ESPN Plus. Only an 8-6 lead for the number 3 team in the country.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Go on.
I think I got away with something I shouldn't have. The temptation, it was too much.
What did you do?
Well, I got a brand new Hyundai Ioniq 5 for only $5,000.
Holy Santa Fe.
Enjoy the new car.
Yes, thank you.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Deal so right, it almost feels wrong.
Get 2.99% APR for 72 months on select Hyundai vehicles. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
So we're down 34-0. Winning will be tough. That's why I brought in the ease specialist.
Right. Geico makes car insurance easy. With the Geico app, you can check your policy on the go and get access to 24/7 claim support.
Let's make this easy.
You know, that felt a lot closer.
For car insurance made easy, get more with Geico.
Let's not waste any time. Fourth quarter getting underway here between Penn State and Cornell. The number 3 team, Cornell, leads 8-6 over the number 8 team, Penn State. And a near turnover off the faceoff win for Penn State, but Jack Fracyon out of his cage to pick up the ball. Such a tightly contested game between these two teams. You need a blue-collar effort to get a win, and that's what both of these programs are built off of.
Well, 22 ground balls, right? So it's been a real battle, several of them, and that's an example of it, right? You got to work all the way to make sure you get out of trouble in those ground ball situations.
The largest lead in this game was a 6-2 lead from Cornell in the second quarter. Ethan Long kind of awkwardly goes around the pick. Mishandled pass from Hunter Aquino. Time winding down in the shot clock, 10 seconds. Both teams have been very methodical in the shot clock. Matthews, wide left.
Short time here, 6 seconds. Sure, they'll try and go quickly, but also not give up.
Peden tries to wrap around, and it's an easy save for Nust. Bounces right into the stick of Gilmartin. Gilmartin has an easy outlet to Walker Schwartz. And Schwartz will back off.
Thinks better of it, gets it to a shorty.
Hasn't taken too many lessons from Brendan Staub on what to do in transition as a long stick.
That might be a good thing.
Now Cornell back with the offensive possession here. The largest run in this game was the 5-goal run that allowed Cornell to take a 6-2 lead.
Here's that downhill dodge.
Dunk from Andrew Dalton. That's a specialty from Andrew Dalton to dunk right on the crease. And Hugh Kelleher, with his head full of steam, picks up the assist.
Well, he's not necessarily known as an assist guy, Hugh Kelleher, and he does a nice job there, uses the pick, and is able to just find Dalton and just, to your point, like it was a dunk. He just dunked it right in.
9-6 the lead now for Cornell as Andrew Dalton gets on the board. Kelleher, a 3-point day, 2 goals and assist. Kurse, 2 goals and an assist. Long, 2 goals and an assist.
Sound like a broken record.
That's kind of what we're going to be saying for the rest of this game with how tightly contested it is.
Right
Kobe Baldwin wins against Jack Cascadden.
Assist from number 27, Hugh Kelleher.
They put Aquino on. Aquino got on quickly. Either that or he started. No, that was John King, excuse me.
Yeah, it was 3-3 and not 2-3.
Playing.
Yeah.
It's because of the sun that's out here at Chocoff Field right now. Again, like I said, the rare instance we see having sun in Ithaca as cloud cover slowly starts to come. Mac Hobbs has a goal today on a man-up situation.
Yeah, so this is a second midfield group coming.
He'll take TJ Lamb on the invert. Singer switches onto him. Now Wallstrom has Lamb. A goal for Wallstrom. And Penn State wants a dunk of their own. They'll get a dunk of their own with Peden.
If you can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
That's what it sort of was. It just finds him inside. Cornell's defense got rotating here. You ended up with a change in matchup. Wallstrom gets the short stick and takes advantage of it, looks inside. He's able to find Peden and converts it.
All 7 goals for Penn State today scored by different men. And we'll do it again. Baldwin and Cascadin. Faceoffs are even at 9-9. And this time it's Melkonian taking the face-off of Cornell. He loses it to Baldwin. And now Kobe Baldwin is starting to settle into the game after starting off the game cold at the face-off dot.
Can be streaky, right? You find the move that works, then you can beat this counter. It's sort of one of these things where it is very much a chess match.
And Kobe Baldwin has 2 goals and 3 assists on the year. He's staying on the field, keeping Melkonian on the field.
Well, that's the other question. Does that help them, right? You play 5-on-5.
The shot over the cage.
It's almost a way that you can give guys a rest by playing 5-on-5, by keeping a face-off guy or a long pole in the offensive end.
Wallstrom working against Matt Dooley. Mishandled pass for Long. Gilmartin trying to race over. Baldwin and Melkonian are going to have to get in, and it's Melkonian who picks up the ground ball. Here comes Cornell.
Sort of like a face-off on the sideline there. Now, neither team has used a timeout yet. We're getting to the point where you might start to see teams, to say if they get in trouble offensively, you want to value every possession in a tight game.
Both have 2 left in this second half. Each used only 1 in the first. The margin's so tight for Cornell, they're keeping the first midfield line on. Kelleher will pass it off. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Curse mishandles the ball. Ross couldn't quite swipe it out of his stick. Now here's Kelleher once again. Has had the short stick all day long, but gets the switch there.
And here you go, Long with a shorty. He'll take him behind. Plenty of time, 25 to shoot.
The short stick is Kyle Aldridge. 20 seconds for Michael Long. Works on his invert. Long up top to Kelleher. Ryan Goldstein. Oh, it's beautiful play. Tic-tac-toe for the Cornell offense.
That's
the Big Red are the first to 10.
That's the best offensive sort of ball movement that they got. We're able to get the ball rotating and spinning. Again, I love it when they initiate with Michael Long in the back because they just sort of get into a rhythm then, and then they're able to work it around and find Goldstein, who cuts to the ball, does a nice job, and stops. Again, these have all been 1-goal runs. It's just been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And Goldstein has the 4th Cornell player to 2 goals today. Curse, Long, Kelleher, and Goldstein, all with 2 goals. Cascadin and Baldwin. Once again, it's Cascadin who picks up the ground ball. Here comes Jack Cascadin. Shoots, scores!
And that's the thing that Jack Cascadin brings to this team. His ability as a face-off guy to handle the ball. As soon as he sort of got to this restraining line, I'm like, here comes a shot. I was surprised they didn't rotate it to it quicker, because if you've been watching the film, you know that this is what he's going to want to do. He got this ground ball with one hand, just steps in and just lets it fly, and they're going to get a timeout here.
The 5th goal from Jack Cascadin on the season forces Jeff Tambroni to call a timeout. Cornell matches its largest lead of the day with 4 over Penn State.
At the 9:58 mark, 4th quarter.
I got away with something I shouldn't have. The temptation, it was too much.
What did you do?
Well, I got a brand new Hyundai Ioniq 5 for only $5,000.
Holy Santa Fe.
Enjoy the new car.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Deal so right, it almost feels wrong.
Get 2.99% APR for 72 months on select Hyundai vehicles. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
All right, trainees, let's say Glenn is a customer.
I'm a customer in this scenario.
What do we do?
Protect what's important to him.
And how do we do this?
We help with car, home,
Both.
RV coverage.
Great, apply coverages. Because you never know what life is going to surprise you with at 90 miles per hour.
Did Coach say 90?
Push him out there.
You've got this, Glenn.
Am I gonna feel this? I felt that.
Is he okay?
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
Oh, he's moving.
Jack Cascadden walking back to the face-off dot after scoring his 5th goal of the season and giving Cornell a bit of juice, matching the largest lead of the day for the Big Red, 11-7 over Penn State. Christian Guzman here alongside Tom LaFalce, and it feels like the momentum is squarely on Cornell's side.
Yeah, it is definitely starting to shift, but we're going to have to see. Every time you thought Cornell was going to maybe open it up a little bit, and here a big ground ball for Penn State.
Ryan O'Connor will pick it off after scrum.
Knowing a Jeff Tambroni team, they're going to fight this all the way to the bitter end. And I think the same thing could be said about Cornell. They're going to fight it to the bitter end as well. These are two hard-nosed teams, that really take their identity from face-offs, ground balls, and now you've got both with strong goalie play as well.
The blue-collar mindset that Jeff Tambroni helped build here at Cornell, it's shifted over to Connor Busek as well. Busek and Jordan Stevens, both recruited by Tambroni before he left for Penn State. Somehow Long gets this behind Cage. The skip pass to Liam Matthews is in. Ever since that 5-goal run from Cornell, no team has found separations in the run department.
Yeah, and the Cornell defense got sort of out of sync there because of the opportunity before it. It was that quick ground ball, dodging to the opposite side and being able to look cross crease, and then Liam Matthews makes no doubt about it. Stops the run at 2. These face-offs down the stretch are going to be critical. You're seeing two different guys at the dance, so to speak.
Yeah, Baldwin will this time go against Melkonian. 2 for 5 is Melkonian at the dot so far.
Penn State goal scored by number 51, Liam
Baldwin, what a behind the back to secure the face-off. There's a reason why coming into this game he was facing off at 63.8%. Jack Amon has the ball. How much juice does this first midfield line for Penn State have? No Kyle Lehman, no Matt Traynor, no Ryan DeRocco. Halfway through the shot clock. Look how compact all 6 men are. Matthews, wide.
Yeah, and you can see that very much for Cornell. They have really stayed, almost dared Penn State to shoot from the outside here.
30 seconds on the shot clock. Long has the short stick, Bozzi. 2-man with Amon. 15 on the timer. Amon's got Gilmartin. Switched on to Singer. 10 seconds. The Rutgers transfer. Backing off from Cage. A beautiful cut inside. What a check from Matt Dooley. 2 seconds. 1. The shot is blocked on the way in. Shot clock violation.
Bozzi took that hit. Oh, we got...
Gilmartin has to fight off.
Hold on. We had 2 balls on the field. Wyatt Nuss went behind the cage and picked up a ball on the shot clock violation, and they restarted things very quickly. So they're going to just settle everything down.
But what a defensive stand from Cornell on that last possession.
I think it was Gilmartin who got hit with the shot.
It was either him or Bozzi, one of the short sticks, but
I think it was Gilmartin.
Officials are talking at the bottom part of the screen. Most likely just talking about the timer.
Yeah, as soon as Gilmartin ran to the sideline with the 1 ball, and then Nuss went behind the cage and picked up another ball. Do they maybe sort of reset?
Yeah, maybe reset the shot clock to 80.
As if the ball was never put in play. And then the question is, do you reset the game clock as well?
Officials are talking in the top left of your screen right there.
So we're at 7:30 and 76 right now.
And with how tight this game is, every second matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what the officials decide to... They will give Cornell the fresh 80 to work with.
But they gave them the 80, but they did not reset the game clock. Oh, no, now they did. Yep, so exactly what we thought they would do. It's as if the ball were never put in play.
And it's going to looks like start in the far
Now we're
left.
going to start with no ball.
It looks like we'll start in the far left corner. You can see at the top right of your screen with Matt Dooley. Well, we've got the particulars sorted out, and now it's another Cornell clear. Wyatt Nuss, home run pass because it's a 10-man ride, and it's wide of the cage.
That's it. Penn State's ball. Good heads-up play there by Costin to back up the line. That's the first time we've seen the 10-man ride. Part of it is, I think, because it was so deep in the Cornell end. Now, can Penn State take advantage of that failed clear?
Matthews is taking his time, letting the midfielder switch on once again. It's the first midfield for Penn State. With how short Penn State is with offensive options, it's basically been this first midfield line the entire way. A little bit of step for Peden. Shoveled in. Nust, a save. 8 saves for Wyatt Nust.
Ethan Long with the opportunity there for Penn State. Didn't seem like he got everything quite on that one. And C.J. Kirst comes down because they're in that 10-man ride. Very clearly that Cornell is using that as a way where they're bringing attackmen over.
5 seconds left, and Goldstein will pick it up. Fracion's out of the cage, and Goldstein will back off. Goldstein will take the shot now. He'll score against the 10-man. The hat trick for Ryan Goldstein has restored Cornell's lead to 4.
That's surprise. Defensive. They had a defender in the cage and he came out. Fracion was actually on Goldstein. So I'm surprised that guy, he's not going to shoot that if there was someone there, right? Even if it wasn't Fracion. So I'm surprised that the defender didn't stay in the crease to keep it, because this was the guy. And that's one of the ways you try and often look for that, right? Get the attackman who has the goalie as far away from the cage as you can and see if you can get him the ball. Cornell also trying to beat that clear by bringing in attackmen over when they're in the 10-man ride. Again, you're making all of those matchups have to make decisions about staying on side.
6 minutes left. Another face-off win for Kobe Baldwin. But Cornell matching its largest lead of the game once again with 4. And Ryan Goldstein, who's been an assist machine the entire year, has no assists but 3 goals. And Baldwin's going to keep cascading on the field to play defense. Matthews. Once again, Penn State essentially choosing to play 5-on-5. Liam Matthews off the pipe.
This is still a shot.
Bouncing all the way to the halfway line.
Offsides on Long, it should be. Yep.
Yeah, it is an offsides on Long, who is trying his best to tiptoe the halfway line, but stepped that left foot over the line.
The thing you have to remember, just the act of touching the line puts you offsides, right? So good thing for you youth players. I do it as a coach all the time, where we do everything where we make sure guys are behind the line, just like it would be on a face-off, just like it would be for staying on side, so that they get used to this idea of you never want to touch the line. The line is out. So when you're doing sprints after a practice, when you're doing face-off drills, even when you're stretching, to make sure that players are understanding as soon as you touch that chalk, you're going to make your team offsides.
Especially when you have so many of these balls nowadays in college lacrosse bouncing off the pipe, passes from X, missing their target. That discipline on the line is so important, as the officials are going to get the clock right once again.
And another rule change, you can only use your stick to keep it on board. You can't use the body anymore, right? So there is this, trying to get into position so that you can reach with your stick that they're really battling for.
Another attempt at the dunk.
And that's in the crease.
Definitely in the crease. Hobbs is going to have to let this go as Wallstrom landed in the crease. And this should be another easy clear. Not enough time to set up the 10-man for Penn State, so they'll have to settle down into their defense. And time is on Cornell's side. They can start killing clock.
I think if you're Cornell, you maybe think about it a little bit, but you have to stay aggressive here. There's a lot of time, especially when you're, Colby Baldwin can get you possessions as a face-off guy.
It's been a quiet day for C.J. Kirst by his standards, because 2 goals and 1 assist for most players is not a quiet day.
Yeah, for sure.
Willenfirth gets doubled. What a huge slide from Alex Ross. He's been absolutely excellent today.
That's a push on Kelleher from behind.
Ryan O'Connor doing a great job to pick up the ground ball, and it's an excellently timed double from Alex Ross.
Yeah, Cornell should have really communicated better through that.
The pass from Aquino couldn't quite find his long pole in Costin. Kelleher staying on the field. Picks up the ground ball. And now Goldstein will back off wisely. Only a sophomore is Ryan Goldstein, but wise beyond his years. Maybe
Again,
taking a little bit of inspiration from his dad.
Yeah, I think here you just take the opportunity to just settle things down a little bit. They are looking for opportunities to double when Cornell is changing. Again, remember, you do still have 2 timeouts if you're Cornell. So if you need it, you could use one pretty quickly.
Well, who else do you want to have the ball in your stick in this situation? Number 15 in white. Cursed against Ross. We've been seeing this battle all day long.
Yeah, and Ross has really been up to the task today. He's done a really nice job. Preseason All-American, shown it today.
Second team All Big Ten last year. Honorable mention All-Americans last year as well. You know, imagine he'll rise up those All-American ranks this season as well. 20 seconds. Curse goes. Looks for his options. Willem Furt's all alone, and Willem Furt's stopped by Frasian.
Boy, I thought that one was going in. Nice job by Frasian getting down low on that.
Hard to believe that's only his 4th save of the day. I mean, Cornell hasn't been the most accurate with their shots, but when they've hit the cage, they've been going by Frasian. And nearly a failed clear for Penn State. That was almost disastrous, but now Aldridge is alone.
And the coaches were looking for them being offsides because the guy was in the air jumping to get onside for Penn State.
Yeah, Matthews can't handle the pass from Aldridge. Dooley with the ground ball. And now it's Cornell on the clear. Ten-man once again coming for Penn State. And the 10-man forces a turnover. Aldridge wants a goal, and they'll pick it up.
And that's one where I think Wyatt Nust has to say, you know, I'm not going to make that risky pass, right? This is an opportunity. Just didn't throw it very well. It was well covered. You almost think about, do you just cheap it down to the other end and make them have to come the length of the field instead of giving up that easy goal quickly? You know, that's another example where Cornell's got time on its side. Make them have to come the length of the field. But credit to Penn State. Aldridge doing a nice job in the ride and just throws a little stick fake and beats Nust, who can't quite get his feet set and back in the position well. Important face-off here.
Baldwin and Cascadin again.
Penn State goal scored by
Sports towards the offensive end. Huge crunching hit, and a flag will fly. John King was the recipient of the hit. And it looks like for the 5th time today, Cornell is going to go man down.
I'm not sure why they blew the whistle, though.
Looks like it's going to go against Cascadin.
There's 2 flags down, for whatever that's worth. Although Cornell's got 5 defenders on the field. 2:20 to go here. Cornell with a 12-9 lead.
Oh, the officials are going to ask for a review here.
Could be because of the type of hit it was. If it was up in the head-to-head.
Oh, it's helmet. Oh, boy.
The goal on the field is a hit to the head. The play is under review.
And that could be a 2-minute foul.
An unreleasable 2-minute foul.
So this is an important decision here.
We're under official.
Able to use a review here.
Now, one of the more modern additions to the game of college lacrosse, the official review. And this is an important one to look at. You just saw the helmet-to-helmet contact.
Seeing that replay, I can't see how it's not that.
And you would imagine that it's unreleasable as well.
Yeah, I think that could be the case. But if you're Cornell now, you know, you want to make Penn State take as much time as possible here, right? Just stay disciplined, give them the outside shot, and you need. Now the other part of this is not only the foul and the man up, but the guy who the foul is on is your face-off. He's your primary face-off guy, right? So that doesn't help you either.
If it's unreleasable, puts a lot of pressure on Michael Melkonian to come into this game and do what he did last week against Richmond to help stabilize the face-off a little bit, against Hobart, where he's been great so far, but 2 for 6 on the day today.
I think we're going to have to wait on the official call here.
Cornell penalty to number 20, Jack Cascadin. 2 minutes, direct hit to the head.
Now the question is,
was it releasable or not?
Was it releasable or not?
Didn't hear it from the PA, so at the very minimum, it's a 2 minute. We got to remember, once again, one of the other factors for this man up and for the rest of this game, no Matt Trainer, no Kyle Lehman, no Ryan DeRocco.
Yeah, Penn State 1 for 5 with the extra man in this game. You see Cornell has kept things pretty tight.
How quickly does Penn State want to go here? They do have the 2 minutes on the man up. First shot goes wide left. Nust was almost there for the backup, but Matthews was first. Under 2 minutes to play. Matthews tries for the dunk. He'll get it over the shoulder of Nust.
He didn't have a lot to shoot at there. It was pretty flat angle, but I think it was Nust moving that's what created that opportunity. He's almost just on goal. Yeah. And this is a non-releasable foul.
It's about a 20-second differential between the man-up clock and the game clock. We're going to have Penn State 6-on-5 for pretty much the rest of this game, with Cascadon taking a knee for the next minute and 22 seconds.
So it obviously goes without saying this is an important face-off.
Yeah, minute 32 seconds. Melkonian versus Baldwin. Melkonian's doing his best to try and get it past Baldwin. Baldwin's been fancy with his face-off wins.
The thing that makes it so difficult, right, is a lot of times for Cornell especially, and Penn State's going to get a timeout, is you've only got, it's 2-on-3 for the face-off, right? So you got to probably try and win it to yourself pretty quickly, because if it gets into any sort of drawn-out ground ball situation, it makes it really difficult for you to win it.
Jeff Tambroni will take his second and final timeout of the half. A minute 38 on the game clock. A minute 18 on the penalty to Cascadon. The direct hit to the head. 2 minutes unreleasable on Jack Cascadon. And Penn State, for the second time today, has converted on a man-up opportunity. And he's got another minute and 18 seconds on the man-up advantage.
And again, if you're Cornell, you just want to make sure keep those passing lanes. Rely on Wyatt Nust. He's done the job today. He's got 8 saves in the contest. I think if you're Cornell, just don't give him up the easy one. If they're going to shoot from distance, you rely on Wyatt Nust. Make sure it's something he can see.
The penalty killers for Cornell. The entire starting close D, Singer, Dooley, and Staub. The long pole is Walker Schwartz. The short stick is TJ Lamb. The man-up unit for Penn State. Their attack. Wallstrom. Matthews. Peden. Amon. Aquino. Hobbs.
Start in a 2-3-1. They've liked Matthews in this position down low. This is just how they went a second ago.
Garrett Glass is now on the man-up unit for Penn State. 1 minute left in the man-up. This next shot's low and it's in. Penn State's brought it to within 1. And they still have a minute on the man-up timer.
Wallstrom comes from behind there. Cornell just a bit slow getting to him. It's not a great approach there, and is able to get his hands. I actually felt like it was outside. I thought it was outside at first when I saw it live. So again, another important timeout. Do you see, can you go for the quick hitter with Melkonian?
58 seconds left on the man up. Penn State has brought it to within 1. And Melkonian does win the face-off. Coach Busek needs a timeout quickly. Melkonian tries to get into the box. He falls down. And Coach Busek did get the timeout in.
They did get that timeout. You could see Connor Busek was running up to the referee. Melkonian stays with the ground ball. They just stayed with it the whole way. And now you're going to have the opportunity for Cornell to see if they can run some clock. You have to think that they're going to come out and double pull the ball because they're up a man, right? You'll probably we'll see Fraysion stay in the cage because you're up a man. So I would think that's got give it to C.J. Kirst written all over it.
Yeah. You imagine Kirst is going to have the ball coming out of the timeout. There's still 47 seconds left on the man up, and it looked like initially Baldwin had won the faceoff, but it bounced out of his stick, and Melkonian picks it back up.
Yeah, he did a great job of staying with it, getting that ground ball, and to me, I thought as soon as he got over that midfield line, again, Cornell still has another timeout available, right? So I was expecting that timeout to get used almost right away, and they're able to get it. The bench was just going nuts because they all knew they were trying to get it. I don't know if the referee couldn't hear it because I'm surprised it took them so long just to get it.
True freshman Michael Melkonian from Rockville Center, New York, the 2024 Nassau County Player of the Year. And he has stepped up in a big way for the Cornell Big Red.
Yep, still a lot of lacrosse to play here, though. Minute 7, the foul is going to release, we said, at about 20 seconds
20
to
seconds,
go.
at 20 seconds, the full minute penalty on Cascadon will release.
So one of the things that'll be interesting to see is if Cornell decides to keep a defensive midfielder on the field to prevent the opportunity. And here, Wyatt Nuss, you see him, 62.8 on the season. He's got 8 saves so far here today, so not quite to where he is typically. Yep, so Gil Martin staying on for Cornell. They got 2 poles that are going to come. I think C.J. Kirst jumped the whistle there a little bit.
But he's running for his life past Alex Ross.
And now you're going to look for him to double back the other way.
The poles are fiercely off, and Kevin Parnham trying to force C.J. Kirst out, and he does force him out of bounds. So, not too much time ticking off the clock. It was about 14 seconds that Kirst was able to buy.
But Cornell did not get the pole on.
Kelleher is racing off the field to try and get a pole on. They do eventually get it on.
Still man up.
Man up for another 20 seconds for Penn State.
But no timeouts left for Penn State here.
Matthews directing traffic. 10 seconds on the man up.
Cornell will release a midi from the midfield line.
2, 1. Full strength for the rest of the game. Shot for Mamo. He scores. We're all tied up at 12.
And boy, I think that's one where he just let it fly. That we haven't seen that range from him all game long, and just steps in, right? Just lets it fly. Just sort of an overhand shot, opposite stick side, ties this game up. This is a 4-goal run for Penn State. Everything changed after that penalty.
And what a run for Penn State. Without many of its key attackers, no Kyle Lehman, no Matt Traynor, no Ryan DiRocco. They've taken advantage of the penalty, and now a violation against Melkonian. Baldwin has 2 goals. He's going to take it directly himself. Time running down, 10 seconds. This ball's bouncing around, no flag.
Yo, there is a flag.
There is a flag. Oh, boy. So Penn State can hold for the ball heading into overtime.
That's right.
Oh, it came from the far official.
It's a 30-second foul. I think it was a hold.
Yeah, it looks like the hold is the call.
So I think if you are Penn State, you hold
Cornell
here.
penalty to number 35, Drew Diviney. 30-second hold.
And the call is on Drew Diviney.
I think they announced the wrong number. It's Melkonian.
Yes, excuse me. It's on Melkonian. Penn State will hold for overtime. Penn State will start with the ball in overtime. A 4-goal run to end the game off of extra man opportunities for Penn State has tied this game up. And we need extra time to decide a winner.
Time. Cornell 12, Penn State
Yeah, we had
12.
10 goals scored in that 4th quarter. So really, the offense was flowing and everything changed, right? Cornell had a lead of 12-8 with under 3 to go, and Penn State just, as we said they probably would, right? They have just stayed with it all day long here. Now they'll have an opportunity to have their extra man, see if they can convert. They're 4 of 6 on the day.
3 extra man goals scored on the Cascadon 2-minute unreleasable penalty. Penn State once again. The hold is getting called on Melkonian as Long and Farnham will meet with the officials at midfield to discuss what's happening for overtime.
Yeah, I mean, that was an obvious call for the officials, right? It was clearly head-to-head. It's a safety issue that these guys know all about, right? So credit to Penn State for just hanging around. Cornell has not been able, they sort of opened up a lead. You thought they opened it up again in that fourth quarter, and just Penn State just chipped away, and then took advantage of the extra man opportunities when they had them.
Luke Wallstrom with 2 goals and 2 assists. Hunter Aquino with 1 goal and 3 assists. And Liam Matthews, in his very first start of his career, has 3 goals and an assist, getting the starting position because of the injuries to Lehman and Duraco at attack.
Yeah, and I think for Cornell, this is going to be, it's only about 20 seconds. You stay tight, don't give up anything quick, and then know that you're going to have, the rest of that shot clock to go, that you're going to have to, get the stop. So it's yes, it is the man up, but then you're going to have to play some regular straight up defense as well.
It'll be 23 seconds on the man up for Penn State. Because of them bringing the man up into overtime, this will be no face-off. It'll be the specialist Mac Hobbs who will start with the ball. The other specialist, Garrett Glatz, is hanging around the crease. Hobbs up top near the 20-yard line. We'll start overtime. 23 seconds, the man up for Penn State. Matthews to Amo, who tied the game. Aquino to Hobbs. Wallstrom. 9 seconds left. Aquino taking his time. And Glass lost it. Brendan Staub trying to fight for the ground ball. This is going out of bounds. Who are the officials giving it to? Penn State. It's a shot clock reset as well. It's a fresh 80 for Penn State.
Correct. So we're all even.
Full strength now. But again, Penn State's got 80 on the shot clock. Wallstrom to Amo. And Penn State will settle down. Aquino. Shot. Score! Ethan Long has won the game for Penn State. Down 12-8 in the fourth quarter. The Nittany Lions score 4 goals in the final 2 minutes and change. And Ethan Long is the hero in overtime for the Nittany Lions.
Give Penn State all the credit in the world. They just battled, and they made plays down the stretch, and Cornell did not. They had a chance. Cornell got a ground ball, was just unable to corral it. It went out, and then Penn State takes advantage of that extra opportunity from just staying on it and not giving up on that ground ball situation, playing it all the way through and then making the plays. They closed on a 5-goal run, and that's the difference in this game.
Ethan Long is the hero of the day. Give Hunter Aquino his 4th assist. And the Nittany Lions battle from down 4 goals in the fourth quarter to win 13-12 in overtime here at Chillicothe Field. It's going to be a necessary regroup for Cornell when they take on Princeton next week right here at Chillicothe Field. We hope you can join us all for that. Well, alongside Tom Foss and our director, Lauren Stavros, I'm Christian de Guzman saying so long here from Chillicothe Field, where your final score is Penn State 13, Cornell 12 in overtime. All games aired on the ESPN networks are archived and can be viewed on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.